Getting rich is brutally simple, but almost nobody will ever do it. Not because they lack intelligence. Not because they weren't born into the right family. Not because the system is secretly designed to keep everyone poor. They stay poor because they spend their entire lives chasing comfort instead of power, appearances instead of assets, and feelings instead of reality. That's the uncomfortable truth, and it's exactly why this video might change the way you think about money forever. Because today, we're diving into the brutal wealth psychology inspired by Machiavelli, not the cartoon villain people imagine, but the ruthless observer of human nature who understood something most financial gurus never talk about. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about understanding people, understanding incentives, understanding perception, understanding why crowds repeat the same mistake generation after generation. And once you understand that, you stop playing the game everyone else is losing. Now let me make one thing clear. This isn't a video about overnight success. It isn't about crypto hype. It's not about motivational slogans telling you to manifest millions. This is about psychology. The invisible rules that quietly separate those who build fortunes from those who spend their lives working to make someone else rich. If you stay until the end, you'll start noticing patterns you've ignored your entire life. Patterns hiding inside your friendships, your spending habits, your career, your fears, even your definition of success. Because the biggest obstacle between you and wealth isn't your bank account, it's your mind. Most people never become wealthy because they misunderstand what money actually is. They think money is the goal. It's not. Money is evidence. Evidence that you've solved problems. Evidence that people trust you. Evidence that you've created value someone willingly exchanged their resources for. The poor chase money. The wealthy chase leverage. That's the first brutal distinction. Imagine two people. One works 12 hours every day. The other spends 6 months building something that continues paying them while they sleep. Who becomes rich? The answer isn't effort, it's leverage. Machiavelli understood centuries ago that power always beats effort. The lion is strong, the fox is clever, but the ruler survives because he knows when to become either. The same principle exists in wealth. Hard work matters, but hard work without strategy creates exhaustion, not freedom. Millions of people work harder than billionaires. Construction workers, farmers, nurses, factory employees. Their effort isn't the problem, their leverage is. Society quietly trains people to trade time for money. The wealthy learn to trade systems for money. That single difference changes everything. Think about it. Every hour you stop working, does your income stop too? If the answer is yes, you're still renting your life. Because time is the only currency you can never earn back. The rich protect their time more aggressively than they protect their money. The poor protect small amounts of money while giving away decades. That's why some people spend 3 hours trying to save $20, but never question spending 20 years in a career they hate. Perspective determines wealth, not intelligence. Machiavelli believed perception controls reality. Financially, this couldn't be more true. Most people buy things to look rich. The wealthy buy things that make them richer. One seeks admiration. The other seeks multiplication. One purchases liabilities. The other purchases assets. The crowd applauds expensive lifestyles. The wealthy applaud cash flow. And here's something nobody tells you. The desire to impress others is one of the most expensive addictions on earth. Think about how many purchases you've seen people make simply to avoid appearing unsuccessful. Luxury cars they can't afford, designer clothes bought on credit, phones upgraded every year, vacations financed with debt. Every decision whispers the same desperate sentence. Please believe I'm important. But wealth doesn't care about appearances. Wealth rewards discipline, and discipline is invisible. Nobody applauds the investor quietly buying assets every month. Nobody celebrates the entrepreneur working alone after midnight. Nobody notices the years of sacrifice. Until suddenly, everyone notices the success. Then they call it luck. Machiavelli warned that people judge outcomes more than processes. That's why the world envies results while mocking the habits that created them. The millionaire who skipped parties. The business owner who worked weekends. The investor who looked boring. People laughed until they stopped laughing. Here's another psychological trap. Most people crave certainty before taking action. They want guarantees, perfect timing, perfect information, perfect confidence. It never comes. Meanwhile, the wealthy understand uncertainty is the price of opportunity. Every investment contains risk. Every business contains uncertainty. Every career move involves discomfort. Waiting for certainty often guarantees mediocrity. Fear disguises itself as preparation. You tell yourself, I'm still researching. I'll start next year. I need one more course. I'll wait until conditions improve. Years disappear inside those sentences, and life keeps moving. Machiavelli observed that fortune favors those prepared to seize opportunity before everyone else agrees it's safe. By the time the crowd feels comfortable, the opportunity is usually gone. Think about every major innovation. When it first appeared, people laughed, then ignored it, then criticized it, then copied it. Human psychology never changes. The crowd rarely recognizes value early, which is exactly why extraordinary returns rarely belong to the crowd. Now here's a question. Why do intelligent people stay financially stuck? Because intelligence alone doesn't defeat emotion. Emotion beats logic far more often than we'd like to admit. Fear sells, comfort seduces, comparison destroys contentment, and envy quietly rewrites financial priorities. Social media amplified this weakness. Every scroll convinces people they're falling behind. Someone bought a Lamborghini. Someone retired at 30. Someone made millions in crypto. Someone lives in Dubai. Someone travels every month. The comparison never ends. What people don't show is debt, stress, failed businesses, sleepless nights, broken relationships, or the 10 years nobody watched. Machiavelli understood appearances are often carefully manufactured. Power depends on perception. Modern wealth culture does exactly the same thing. Never confuse visibility with success. The loudest millionaire in the room is rarely the richest. Real wealth often moves quietly. Now let's discuss one of the most dangerous beliefs in modern society. If I make more money, I'll become rich. No. Income creates comfort. Assets create wealth. There's an enormous difference. Someone earning $200,000 a year can still be financially trapped. Someone earning $50,000 while consistently buying productive assets may eventually become financially free. The paycheck matters less than what happens after it arrives. Most people increase expenses every time income increases. It's called lifestyle inflation. The salary grows, so does the house, the car, the subscriptions, the vacations, the expectations. Income rises. Freedom doesn't. Machiavelli would recognize this immediately, because dependence is the enemy of power. If your lifestyle requires every dollar you earn, you don't own your life, your lifestyle owns you. True wealth is measured by options. Can you walk away from a toxic job? Can you survive unexpected hardship? Can you say no without fear? Money doesn't buy happiness, but financial independence buys choices, and choices create freedom. Freedom is the real luxury. Not designer brands, not watches, not private jets. Freedom. The freedom to say no, the freedom to think independently, the freedom to protect your time, the freedom to ignore the crowd. That freedom is priceless. And here's where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They build identities around consumption instead of creation. They become experts at spending. Before learning how to build, they know every luxury brand, but know nothing about investing. They memorize celebrity gossip, but never study business models. They understand entertainment algorithms, but not financial statements. Attention is your most valuable asset. Where attention goes, your future follows. If your attention constantly feeds distractions, your future will resemble distraction. If your attention feeds knowledge, skills, relationships, and opportunity, your future changes with it. Machiavelli understood something terrifying about human beings. People naturally seek immediate pleasure over long-term advantage. That's why kingdoms collapse. That's why fortunes disappear. That's why dynasties fail. Short-term emotion destroys long-term strategy. The wealthy fight this instinct every single day. They delay gratification. They invest before spending. They build before celebrating. They think in decades, while everyone else thinks about Friday night. The greatest secret about getting rich isn't hidden inside some exclusive club or locked behind a millionaire's course. It's hidden inside decisions so ordinary that most people ignore them. Choosing discipline over impulse, ownership over appearance, patience over excitement, creation over consumption, and strategy over emotion. Machiavelli's greatest lesson wasn't about becoming ruthless toward others. It was about refusing to let your own emotions rule your future. The person who masters themselves gains an advantage that no market crash, trend, or recession can easily take away. If this changed the way you think about wealth, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel explores the psychology of power, influence, discipline, and financial freedom through timeless ideas that still shape the modern world. And remember, fortunes are rarely built in moments of excitement. They are built through years of consistent decisions that almost nobody notices, until everyone notices the result.